Welcome back to another Strike Thoughts, round 10. We're feeling tired, but we can get there. Pete, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm really, really good, thank you. I want to quickly recap the last card and then quickly go on to some breaking news as well. A big fight that's been announced, and then also something even bigger that's been announced by Dana. So we'll come on to that in a second. So we'll just buzz through these quickly then, Peaks. I know how excited you are. We got the first fight of the last. So it was UFC 250. Any kind of like massive highlights for you, Pete, before like we get into it, like breaking it down fight by fight, like your massive takeaways?
Just where we've been saying previously, I think about like weight divisions all popping off in different times. I think this was like the bantamweight card. Really, it's just fucking like hit it off again. Like three big main fights on there. And that's just sort of set everyone up now for some like bigger fights in the future.
I feel like it's being timed really well with Cejudo gone, TJ gone. There's no real clear cut person. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens. I'm really, really excited. All right. So we got the middleweight fight. The first fight of the night was Charles Bird against Maki Patoli, and the Hawaiian Maki. It was a really, really big finish. Like just absolutely battered him really from it. Really, really good fight. I haven't seen any of these fighters before, to be fair. But again, it's like the middleweights we were talking about, like the division. Yeah. It's very, very. There's like a big divide, but hey, he looks really, really good. Like really, really, really good. So we'll see what happens there. Cody Stamann, mate, against Brian Kelleher. I wanted to talk about this one. We spoke about the bantamweight division being exciting, but the featherweight division is equally as exciting. A really big first round, massive exchanges. Another great round, second round. Stamann looked the more busier, got the takedown. Great fight, and then decision went to Cody Stamann. Give me your thoughts on this fight, Pete.
Yeah, it was really good. I thought I was a little bit like sort of behind Kelleher from the last fight I saw him in, and but yeah, like I thought it was a really good fight, like back and forth, and especially for that guy to come in. It's like Walt Harris the other week to come in on that sort of, trying to subside that sort of emotion until after the fight must be fucking hard. And he even Joe Rogan said it's one of his best performances. So he done fucking really well.
Mad, it's mad that there's a lot of different people in life, but something like that can really affect people to be like, right, my mind's elsewhere. I don't want to fight. Not saying about Walt Harris, by the way. I'm just saying in general, your mind might be somewhere else or whatever. But then you've got other people where they use that and it fuels them to have the performance. Literally of their life. I'll be honest, I didn't know the background of Cody Stamann, who lost his 18-year-old brother just before this fight, a week or so before. But massive respect to him for that. And then even Joe Rogan started welling up in the interview. See that?
I know, fucking hell.
Bless him.
And everyone calls this a fucking barbaric sport.
Mate, it was so emotional. So yeah, massive win from Cody Stamann. But again, with Brian Kelleher, I thought he looked good, especially considering he's only just fought. I know he knocked Geezer out, but 2 quick camps back to back. So it's not like his stock's been reduced highly by that, but no, massive performance there from Cody Stamann. Again, there was another middleweight fight, which was Ian Heinisch, who's ranked 13 in the middleweight division against Gerald Meerschaert. Heinisch went to training in Thailand before this fight to work on Muay Thai, and you could really see it with his leg kicks. Big overhand right hurting him, and then basically just swarmed him. Yeah, really good performance, I thought, from Heinisch.
Yeah, it's really. I don't think I've seen neither of them before. I was a little bit in and out of the fight and that, but then when he was it big right hand, wasn't it? Big overhand right, just sort of fucking done him. Neither of them was ranked, was they?
Heinisch is 13, ranked 13. So
13. Okay.
So he's in the top 15, but Meerschaert wasn't ranked. So we'll see what. It's one of those things as well. I noticed where it's like, I try and be an avid UFC fan. Obviously, I do a podcast on it, so you expect me to know a little bit about it. But you look at a name like Ian Heinisch, and I was like, no, I don't recognise that straight off the bat. I actually recognised Meerschaert more because I've seen him fight more, recently. And then I looked at Heinisch and he ranked 13, and I'm like, well, come on, mate. Like you should, you should know.
Yeah,
a ranked fighter, but it's difficult.
Yeah, especially with people moving about all over the place and starting rankings again, like different divisions and stuff. But yeah,
Exactly. The last prelim was a fight I enjoyed a lot. Was Alex Caceres against Chase Hooper. What did you think of this fight, Pete?
Yeah. It was funny, but it's just like it's almost like everyone knew what Chase Hooper was going to do. Just like come forward, keep pushing, trying to get that takedown, but he was just fucking wasn't there with the hands. Like, and it's not being funny, especially against like Alex Caceres is like he's a good striker, but he's not like elite. Do you know what I mean? He's like. So yeah, I guess that he's still young though, and he's just come in. He's got so much work to do, but I guess that gives Caceres a little boost because, as we were saying, and like we get these guys come in, and it's like, oh yeah, this young kid's on a tear, but he's going up against this veteran that's been in the sport for however many years, and you fucking 9 times out of 10 they beat that veteran because they're that good.
Yeah,
and the game's changed. Whereas now it's just flipped it on its head, and everyone's like, oh. Sarah should just beat this like young up and coming kid. So yeah, I guess that's good for him.
Yeah, but again, I think it does more to. I don't know how high it puts his stock up again, like just beating a new kid. I mean, if basically a win for Hooper does a lot more than a win for Bruce Leroy here. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, I think the pressure was more on if Caceres loses this one, then it's like where does he go from here? So exactly. I think it's more. I think there was more at stake really for him, whereas Hooper could just say, "Oh, I've just lost against a guy that's been here for like fucking years." It weren't bad, was it? It wasn't like a fucking mauling or nothing like that. He just got out of class.
Yeah. He just on the feet. He just outclassed. Just got outclassed. Bless you, mate.
Can't say.
We got hay fever.
Yes, it's come on really strong. Yeah.
Mate, you've been in the sun too long. But it's a really, really interesting fight. But I just put, it was just simple. Chase Hooper was just being outstriked, and then he was even trying to pull guard because that's how good his ground game is.
Yeah,
he's trying to pull guard on him. And he nearly got his legs a couple of times as well, which I was really excited about. I don't know why I was sort of rooting for Chase in this fight because I love both fighters, but I don't know why. I think it might be because my mate asked me to put some bets on, and I was like, "Yeah, stick Chase Hooper on, boy. He's a little dark horse." And obviously, he turned out not to. I don't know. But all right, let's move on to the main card very quickly, then, Pete. So it was Eddie Wineland against Sean O'Malley again, starting off the bantamweight fights of the evening. Give me your thoughts on this, Pete.
Yeah, I think he's. I don't even think I've watched. I think I've watched like maybe one of O'Malley's fights, and I've never really like thought, oh, like he's good in that. But I've never really jumped on that sort of how everyone else has jumped on him. Like he's like the next big thing. But yeah, after that performance, he looks so confident, like aggressive, and he took a couple of big shots as well from like a decent striker. And then to come off with like a finish like that, it's just bumped him right up. He's just like, especially in that division as well. It's like we said about Gilbert Burns. I'd have no problem with them making O'Malley against Garbrandt now. Like,
right,
would have no problem with that whatsoever. Just because I think Garbrandt's he's dropped a bit down anyway. Well, he had before. He's probably bumped up now after his win. But yeah, I'd have no problem with that. I think he's ready for that sort of test, I think.
100%. He's a very interesting character and he's a very interesting fighter, not ranked, not had the big, pay-per-view fights with some really big names and stuff like that. But Eddie Wineland is a seasoned vet, an ex-champ in another organisation, and Sean O'Malley does a walk-off KO with a big right hand, literally slept him. He was out for a long time. He was snoring. He literally did that with a right hand. It's very rare you see that in the bantamweight division until obviously a bit later in the night, which we'll come on to. But big KO, sleep knockouts like that are so rare. When Sean O'Malley was first on the scene, I do remember him coming through, crazy hair tattoos, all that kind of stuff, being really interested in him. Obviously, anyone that, stands out, you get excited, obviously. And then I remember him going away for a bit as well. But I remember him knowing how sick he was and being like, I think I should be fighting here. But you have to prove yourself in the division, bro. You can't just walk in and be like, boom, you got to do what like Till did. You got to do what these young up and coming guys have done and fight your way to the top. But I think he knows how good he is. But I'm really excited to see what happens. Cody's been talking a bit of shit about him. He's been talking a bit of shit about Cody. O'Malley's been talking shit about Cejudo, fucking like retired. It's just sick.
I think that one just makes sense. And I think that would make for like the best fight fan-wise as well, because they're both like
Cody O'Malley, you're talking about?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
the way I think they'd end up really not liking each other during the build-up and stuff, and it would make for like an even better fight. And obviously, both of them coming off of one-punch knockout wins. It's just like even though you say about the rankings, it's like they could give O'Malley someone else and then give Garbrandt someone else. But I think that one would be like exciting for the fans, especially with how things are at the moment. They could both have neither of them got really hurt, so they could turn it around and fucking whack them on Fight Island, whack them on one of them cards. You know what I mean? Next month.
True. The only thing it's what sort of in it. What's in it for Cody? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's fighting an unranked fighter. Cody's currently the number 9 ranked bantamweight in the division. He's got people like Jimmy Rivera, Pedro Munoz, Assunção, Sandhagen, all these people above him.
Yeah.
So you know what? I don't understand what would be in it for him, but I'd fucking love to see that.
I think obviously I think it's going to be Sterling and Yan in it. I think for the title, that's what they've sort of planned.
It's Aldo, isn't it?
Oh, is it? I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, sorry. I thought Dana said the winner of Aljamain's fight gets the winner of that. Sorry, the title shot.
That's it.
So I mean, that's 3 fighters caught up in like fights already, and then I don't know. I guess I doubt Cody would want to fight Munoz again. I don't see him.
Well, but then if Munoz has beat Cody, then his stock's higher. Should he be in front for a title? He should be for a title shot before Cody. What do you think about that?
Has he not fought since? I don't know whether he's.
I don't know. That's a great question.
I don't know if he's had a loss since. I don't actually. I'm not sure.
That's a good question, because the only thing for me, it's like, I know that it doesn't work like that with. Sorry. So he lost to Aljamain. So he fought Cody, then he's lost to Aljamain now as well since then. So no, you are right there, man. That division, how interesting is it? How interesting is it?
Yeah, it's all over the place, and it's fun.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. That and the featherweight ones are the ones that are popping off at the moment, which is good. But yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. There are fights there for him, but either that or I guess I don't know. I look at it like if they give O'Malley anyone else, because I looked at the sort of the people below Garbrandt in the rankings, and like I see like O'Malley sort of beating them sort of people.
Well, you got I'll tell you what. Let's get through the rest of the fights. Let's get to the Cody fight, and then we'll talk about the rankings. In between some really exciting fights, you had Neil Magny, which I wanted to come on to quickly, Pete, against Rocco Martin. Really, really cagey fight, but Magny just looked the more dominant fighter. And the reason why he's more dominant is because the guy just does not stop throwing. He was just throwing so much. The volume that he was putting out, he didn't even look tired. Rocco was going into the corners, huffing and puffing after every round, and Neil Magny just looked there in the fight the whole time and wins it by decision. We did speak about this one, obviously previewing it, but it's just sort of, where each person kind of goes from there. Do you feel like Magny's in the mix up in the welterweight division amongst people like we said, we've got Burns, Covington, Masvidal, Woodley, Edwards, Stephen Thompson, Damian Maia, Chiesa is in there, Nate's in there, but Magny is there. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like where he fits in.
Yeah, it's sort of like what DC was saying though as well. He sort of throws. It's almost like he's a point scorer, and even though that's good, like if you do it like dominantly, but then other people like that fight could have gone either way. People were saying, when it like they weren't sure about the first 2 rounds.
There was a lot of tweets, bruv. Like people were tweeting in like judges strike again and all this kind of stuff, and I was thinking, I've just watched this fight. I thought he looked good, and I thought he outstruck him personally.
I thought he looked. Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird one because I weren't sure, because the way that they said it as well. What got me was Rocco Martin's reaction, like almost knowing that he'd lost the 3rd round, but he thought he had the first 2, so he was like, "What the fuck?" But Neil Magny's reaction afterwards with Joe Rogan was like, "Oh, I really wasn't sure. It was too close to call, so I had to go for it in the 3rd round."
Right.
Almost telling me that he thought he might have lost 1 or 2. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
But to be honest, the way that I know I never look at fights like this, but the way you sort of not finished the fight, but sort of maybe sort of ended the rounds, he looked more fresh at the end of the rounds. Like Martin was sort of like puffing a little bit, even after round 1. I sort of noticed it. Like I don't think Joe Rogan did. he said he didn't think he looked tired, but he did slow down at the end of every round. And then the third was, like a complete shutout. But yeah, I think he's definitely in the mix. And whether he can hang with like, them guys are so fucking big. Do you know what I mean? He's not, even though they said in that fight he's a powerful guy. I'm not sure he's not powerful. He's not powerful like Usman or Burns.
No, 100% not. And it's just, if in the mix-up again, you've got, like I said, Robbie Lawler, Vicente Luque's in there, Showtime's in there, Conor McGregor's in there. He probably beats Conor. You got Jeff Neal in there. You got Chiesa, you got Damian Maia, you've got Stephen Thompson. You know, does he beat these guys? I don't know. Obviously, I don't know because it hasn't happened yet. But it's an interesting conversation to see where they both go, where they both fall. So we'll keep an eye on it in that exciting division as well. Quickly now, then back to the bantamweights before we finish off with the main event, which was again another conversation we'll be having soon as well, which we spoke about in the previous episode. I want to get back to it, but with the bantamweights, then we had Aljamain Sterling against Corey Sandhagen, and then we had Aston Sale against Cody Garbrandt. Aljamain Sterling looked phenomenal, really aggressive, taking his back, great pace, got his back, rear naked choke, tapped him out. I think Corey Sandhagen actually went out. He did tap before, but then he literally choked him out. Without Sterling's coaches there, he still performed like that, Pete. I was really impressed with him, bruv.
Yeah, he looked fucking mean as well. That was the difference as well. He just come out, he looked massive as well. Like he looked he looked fucking so built for that division. You think about the other guys. Like I'd love to see him actually next to like Jan and Aldo and people like that, and just see how big he actually is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a fucking dominant performance. Can't really argue with it.
Exactly. I don't know whether you look at, whether it was the game plan, whether it was just a technique, whatever. I feel, again, similar to Cody Stamen, he after the fight he was saying about, and we don't need to get into it here, it's not the space for it, but with everything that's been going on in the world at the moment, as a black man, he was just like, I felt like I had that power in me. And I just feel like when these fighters, it's different from football. Like if you've got someone in you're one player and you really want to go out and play and you want to do your best, you've got 10 other people on your team. In team sports it's a bit different, but when you're a fighter and you've got something in your head that because a lot of fighting and boxing is mental. When you've got something in you, he just looked like he had it in him, Pete. He just looked like he was fucking had something to fight for. And it sounds crazy, but it looked like Corey just didn't even have stand a chance.
It's almost like you see it a lot, didn't you? You got them fights that you got. I was going to say you could go back to the like Cowboy McGregor fight. It's like to come out and McGregor was just on it. Do you know what I mean? He's just like, right, I'm going out there, not fucking having a slow start. And it's just, some people like that. I think they genuinely prefer to come out and sort of have the first couple of minutes like a sparring session.
Yeah.
To figure people out, stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It's just, even fucking someone like Mayweather does it. He comes out and he tries to figure people out in that first couple of minutes or the first round. But if you've got someone charging at you who's fucking hell bent on just like destroying you in the first couple of minutes, and it's like, oh shit, my game plan's not going to work.
yeah. It's like Tyson says, listen, everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face. You've got someone in front of you that might even be a little bit, obviously when you get to the UFC, your technique and fighting is at a certain level already. So if you've got someone in front of you that's even a little bit less technical than you, or less powerful or less fast, but they've got something in their fucking head that is going to push them to do it, that's enough to get them push over. So yeah, really, really impressive performance from Aljamain Sterling. And I love this post-fight talk with Joe Rogan. He's talking about obviously what's going on in the world right now, but then he also said, man, like Aldo was fighting for the title, like what the hell, like I'm the guy, like, and DC was like, we've been looking for the guy for the title and he's been here in front of us the whole time, like it was just a really, really good fight. I was so happy for Aljamain. It was really, really good. And then the third bantamweight fight of the whole evening was Cody Garbrandt against Aston Sale. Pete, you called it. You said that Cody Garbrandt, who was already a phenomenal boxer and already had some of the best hands in the bantamweight division, has now stepped up his training. He's between Team Alpha Male, he's between Mark Henry, and what a finish from Cody. I think it was the first round, just before the bell, and literally
No,
10
second. No, it's second. I
second
think.
round.
So,
So
yeah,
second
Yeah.
round, end of the second round, just before the bell goes, obviously they do the 10-second klaxer. Cody walks towards the cage a little bit, backs himself up a little bit, completely drops his hand, invites Assunção in, drops down to his knee, drops his knees a little bit, full body weight into a right hand, and absolutely slept Assunção with one of the dirtiest right hand knockouts I think I've ever seen. This was one of my favourite knockouts, bro. Tell me what you thought about it, bro.
It's interesting because I actually changed my, like, when I actually watched it on the night, I was like, for a split second, even when he did wind up, when they both wound up, I was like, just in a split second, my brain must have been like, "What are you doing? Like, don't do that." Like, do you know what I mean? You got 1 second, you've fallen back into that again.
Yeah.
You could have got caught, but then it turned out it just paid off, I guess. But then you always get punches like that. Two people throwing at the same time, someone connects. Like, it reminded me of Rashad against Chuck Liddell.
Right.
Just that pop. Do you know what I mean? They both sort of going for the same sort of, but one's just on a different level to the other, or like one step ahead. And it was just like, and then to be honest, if he didn't throw that punch, it could have gone on. He could have lost the decision, or you don't know what's going to happen in that round. In that moment, he just had that in him to drop down, keep his eye, and he did it like smartly as well. When DC broke it down, it's like he didn't have his eyes closed, biting down and just swinging. He actually knew exactly what he was doing.
Mad.
But yeah, it was fucking so good.
Such a good knockout. Such a good knockout. One of my favourite knockout of the night, as I said, one of my favourites I've seen. And then, so this sort of pushes, Cody's stock up again. The loss to Pedro wasn't the greatest, but then, we know Cody's, what he was basically saying, they asked him about O'Malley, and they said, O'Malley's talking, saying that, you're similar, blah, blah, blah. And he's saying, well, I was a world champion by the time I was 25. I had 11 fights in the UFC. I was already a world champion. We're not similar. And I to a certain extent, whether they might have the same ability, because we haven't seen O'Malley that much, but you can't argue with what Cody's done, bruv. And the Cody TJ thing was interesting because it did split a lot of people, because I fucking love TJ. I really have. I've always been a fan of him. So you get people that are like, I think TJ was a prick, I think Cody was a prick, blah, blah, blah. But TJ's kind of been taken out of the picture a little bit, so I'm really happy to get back on the Cody train, bruv. I think he's.
Oh, that's 100%. Yeah, 100%. I'm the same as you. I switched around. And like, it's just natural. You're gonna have opinions about people with what you hear, and it's like in them fights, I heard like certain things, and then I was happy that TJ beat him. I was like, that's what you get for fucking being so cocky and like you can't back it up.
Yeah.
But then obviously this shit coming out with TJ now, it's like I'm sort of swung back round. It's like, now you've got the guy taking steroids and he's just fucking been done. So now Cody's the clean option to follow.
Yeah, exactly. He's not a cheater.
No.
Anyway, listen, the separate conversation.
Who called it as well?
What do you mean?
Who called it about what TJ was like? Fucking little snake in the grass. That's what fucking McGregor told Uriah Faber, wasn't it? He told him. He told all of them.
Oh God, we've literally had 3 conversations. Like, one's been about a powerful movement in the world at the moment. The other one's about cheating. Oh, you managed to swing it around to Conor. Every time we're talking about something, always swings around to McGregor. I love it. Really, really impressive performance from Cody. I'm really excited to see what happens in the bantamweight division. Finishing off with a fight. The first thing I want to do before I talk about the second point, again, because I feel like great performances sometimes get marred by negative stuff that can happen. But if we just focus on the positives and just talk about the fight, mate, how impressive did Nunes look?
Oh yeah, like so fucking. I was messaging my mate Layla in Japan. She was watching it at the same time. Obviously coming from like a woman's perspective, she was like, Jesus Christ. She was joking. She was like, I think I might, because I was saying to her, who can beat this woman? She's like, I'm thinking about getting into MMA. But then she was like, in all jokes aside, she was like, she looks fucking evil. She just has that evil grin on her face when she's coming forward, and it's like, it must be
the smirk.
Yeah. But she looks happy, but like, I just feel so sorry for whoever's in front of her.
Yeah. It's scary. It's fucking scary. Like, she is a scary individual, but it's just the reason why she's so scary is because she's so phenomenal. Because she's just so there's just no one on a level. And listen, this happens again. Like, we're living in a time right now where we had fighters like Silva, who was at their peak, and GSP. We've kind of lived through it all. And listen, people get beaten. People will eventually lose. As long as people don't do the Cejudo and retire at your peak and that kind of, well, Connor's obviously retired now, hasn't he? We'll come on to that, Pete. But, you know, when people retire, they sometimes, they don't go out on top and they go a little bit too long and they might take that loss. And listen, she might get a loss further down the road, mate. But she is phenomenal. She's the greatest women's fighter that, you know, I think has ever lived so far. And, you know, they're talking about her and Clarissa Shields, you know, having a boxing match. The UFC are trying to get her in the cage, and Clarissa Shields lot are trying to get Amanda Nunes in the ring to box with her. So that's really, really interesting. I think it's kind of, it's a compliment to Amanda, the fact that in order to talk about women on her level that are at the same condition that she's at the moment, that we have to go to the top of another sport. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's just mad.
I feel like it is true though. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. Like when Ronda first came in, everyone's like, "There's no one out there at the moment. There's no one who's on her level." It's like she's just going to keep beating people, and then out of nowhere, it's like, "Oh shit!" One knockout, and then another knockout, and it's just like, "Oh, she's not on that level striking wise." Whereas Amanda's got everything. She's got even to get like tries grappling with her. She's fucking strong enough, and she's technical enough.
Black belt.
Like, I'm guessing, she's a black belt. Strike boxing wise, could probably knock out quite a lot of men in the UFC. It's just like, it's just fucking crazy how good someone can be, and she's just enjoying it as well. It doesn't look like she's getting bored of it anytime soon. It's just she wants to be that. She wants to be that sort of fucking lion of the division and just keep it. But I think the only person I think, because I think they were quite, I don't know whether they was that close. I'll have to watch them again, but. Like Valentina, I think it's maybe the only one on her level, sort of.
Yeah, no, you did say that. Yeah, I agree.
Technique wise, like dominance wise as well. Because I think after the last Weili Zhang fight, obviously that was really close back and forth. Whereas Valentina's, all of her fights have been like shutouts, just like Amanda's. So I think they're both on the same sort of level with their divisions. But yeah,
so interesting.
Yeah,
with Amanda and Felicia in this last fight that came up again, Pete, another conversation to be had about, and I don't want to spend too much time dwelling on it because, you know, it is what it is, but it was another conversation about should her corner have pulled her out. It went all 5 rounds, and you know, she was just literally getting battered. They could have stopped it after even the third, maybe, saying that, but I suppose you've always got a puncher's chance. What did you think about this one?
Yeah, I didn't think it was nowhere near as bad as like Anthony Smith.
Agree.
Stuff like that. I think she wasn't in it, but she was still fully like capable of, like, you know, like she wasn't stumbling around like out of it with her teeth hanging out.
No, absolutely not.
And even DC said he was like, it's going to be so good for her to get to the 5th round to say that she's gone 5 rounds with like the best woman ever.
Yeah, that's such a great point. It's such a great point.
Like, Rocky won, isn't it? Just want to go the distance.
It's just a Rocky story. I just want to go the distance.
You stop this fight, I'll kill you.
Oh, brilliant! All right, Pete. It was a great card. I really enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. No, yeah, it was fun. But yeah. I'm looking for. It's just everything's on a roll right now.
I know. It's so
things
good.
Coming up.
It's keeping us busy. Well, we've got another card coming up. UFC Fight Night again at the Apex Center on June the 14th. So is that this weekend? That's next weekend.
Yeah,
it's
this weekend. Yeah.
Fucking banging.
That's what I look. Jessica Eye, isn't it?
Yeah. We've got Jessica Eye against Cynthia Calvillo. We've got Carl Roberson fighting against Marvin Vittori. We've got Merab Devashvili fighting against Ray Borg. Again, 2 bantamweights there, Pete.
Ray Borg back in there, straight in there, no fucking around. Andre Philly against Charles Jourdain, featherweight. Where's Ricky Simone? What's he doing, lazy bastard? He just won.
Yeah, he's the one. Oh yeah, of course. So Ray's the one who come off the loss, ain't he?
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? It's fucking mad.
Straight in there, no fucking around. Prelims, Charles Rosa against Kevin Aguilar in a lightweight fight. We've got Julia Avila against Gina Mazzani in a bantamweight women's fight. Ryan Benoit against Tyson Nam in a flyweight bout. And then we've got Jordan Griffin against Derek Minna in a featherweight.
I thought it's Feely on the main card as well.
Yeah. No,
yeah,
Feely,
sorry.
Yeah.
Is he fine?
Charles Jourdain.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. I always enjoy Feely fighting.
Yeah.
And he's just coming off a win as well. So that should be really, really good. So that's really, really exciting.
And the Vittori one, sorry, I was just going to say this. Did you see what happened backstage with them two?
No.
When that Carl Robertson couldn't fight. Do you remember? Like on one of the first cards they'd done with like no crowds. And he either couldn't make weight or he was ill or something like that. Or maybe it was Corona. I can't remember what it was, but Vittori went backstage after him, fucking proper going after him, like, you fucking proper, like, shouted as all security, like, you pussy, I've trained all these fucking months for this fight. It was proper kicking off. And then I think on this card, I've just heard DC said he was there, and he said he was just videoing it, going, oh shit, these guys are going to fight. I can't remember what he said he was shouting at them. He was shouting something like world premiere or world
star.
Like
world star.
Yeah. Joe Rogan's pissing himself.
Do you know what that is, World Star?
No. What are you going?
It's like World Star Hip Hop. It's like if you go on Instagram or go to worldstarhiphop.com, like it's this website where they show a lot of like music videos. But what they're renowned for is that they just show a lot of fucking street fights, like a lot of street fights. So people just film shit like World Star.
You've got one of the biggest UFC commentators and like fucking former champions just standing there like wanting to see a fight backstage.
How many times has fucking Joe Rogan stood up to watch a fight in the crowd? They just love it. They just
yeah.
I know, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Speaking of DC, there, Peter, I don't know if you've just seen the latest news through DC's Instagram, but the fight has now officially been announced. DC against Stipe Miocic, number 3. This one's for all the marbles, he says. We're each 1-1, both knockouts, but great fights. I can't wait to fight this dude again. Now it's time to work as hard as I has ever trained. It's going to be Saturday, August the 15th, Peter.
August. I'm glad you didn't say September. I thought you were going to say July then. Yeah, oh man, I can't wait for that. So excited. When someone like him gets his head down and is that determined, I sort of want him to win.
Oh, do you know what? With this one, I want the best person to win. I want the best fighter to win. Yeah. I'd love it to be a really dominant performance so that, you know, with me in my heavyweight list, we went through our top 10s or whatever recently, you know, and it's always going to be, I guess, changing because there was active fighters in there. But this will, for me, show who the better man is, and it is a conversation. And again, there's a lot of heavyweights, people like Randy Couture and you know, people like Fedor and stuff that need to be spoken about, Velasquez. But for me, this is a conversation where whoever wins this fight can be considered as the GOAT, if not one of the GOATs. Is Stipe, but I guess his injury's done then, I guess. Was it an eye injury, I think?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like a retina or something, or detached retina or some shit. But like, I thought he had the surgery, but they were just talking about the time frame. And he's like, I can't even come back to like training until a certain point, you know what I mean? He can't do no sparring or can't do this, so I guess that's why he was umming and ahhing. And I guess it's like a really delicate injury as well. Like it could fucking detach us like with like one punch or something like that. So
fucking yeah,
I guess they just fair play to him. It ain't his problem to say, oh, I ain't gonna rush coming back just to lose his eye. Do you know what I mean? It's like
100%,
and we're still gonna get the fight. So the only one who comes off. I guess Francis has just got a decision to make. Does he fight again before, or does he wait another, what's that, June, July, August, September, October? No, I guess he'll have to wait another 5 or 6 months to get a title shot. But
yeah, that's a good point.
Or he could just go out and beat the shit out of someone just for fun.
It is really as simple as that. Anyone. It really fucking is. It really is as simple as that. So that really, really big fight. I'm really, really excited for that. Really, really excited for that. Peter, we also have the announcement from Dana White and the UFC official Instagram page today that UFC Fight Island is real. It's Yas Island in Abu Dhabi, and we're going to be having some fights there. Give me your thoughts, Pete.
just fucking out of left field, didn't it? I was like, I said to you, I was expecting some little weird island, like, what did I say, like Bermuda or somewhere like that, or somewhere near Hawaii or something. But no, it's fucking Abu Dhabi. Which is
Crazy.
like, it must have a, surely it can't be that small. Like, it must have a runway on it or something like that.
Well, I'm guessing
Maybe
I'm guessing it's a pretty, a pretty big island. I'm sure.
We'll have to get a boat there.
What Dana White said about it? Have you heard him talk about it? Yeah, let me play this.
No, I just saw the
Jazz Island in Abu Dhabi.
Oh my gosh, it's breaking news on Facebook. I love you. I was all prepared to like smack you down, no t-shirt for you, because I thought you refused to answer that question.
Jazz Island, Abu Dhabi.
So tell me about how this all came to be. Now that we know where it is, how did this happen?
So it's exactly like I said. I've been when this whole thing went down, I was trying to figure out how we could do events. So I thought about, I started talking to different places, and Abu Dhabi was open to it. But
yeah.
Abu Dhabi is one of the strictest places in the world right now with the whole COVID-19 thing. So they're going to put us over at Yas Island. We're building infrastructure over there, and we have a whole plan on how this thing's going to work. And
so they've had to build an infrastructure there because of COVID being so serious. Mate, he is not fucked up. He weren't bullshitting, mate. I'm never fucking not believing him ever again.
I know they must be like, I don't know if they're making money or like breaking even or what, just to keep it going. But like, I guess they've got enough money to lose out on a few events and not make stupid profit. But like, yeah, fucking hell, to actually go to this length. Like, imagine a fucking football team or someone like that going, oh, we're just building a little stadium on fucking somewhere.
Well, I guess it's not. I guess it's not like a football team. It's a bit like the Premier League, I guess you could say, isn't it? It's like the organisation doing it and getting all the teams to play there. It's man. Dana he's not like any other chief exec. He's not like fucking Greg Dyke or fucking like one of these other league presidents or FA chairman. When he's like, listen. He even said in the interview the other day, he was just like, listen. All these people that are complaining about their UFC contracts and all this, Masvidal's been kicking off, Connor's been kicking off, and all these people have been kicking off. He's like, listen, you don't have to fight here. You haven't got to fight.
He just said they've signed new contracts as well.
Yeah.
That's what, did you hear that? Like, he said Masvidal was just literally months ago signed a 6 or 8 fight contract deal, and now he's like, oh man, if you're not going to pay me, I'm not doing it. It's like, what? Like, how can you? If I don't, surely it's a contract. So it's like,
yeah.
No matter who you fight, you've looked at that contract and you must have thought in those 8 fights, especially someone like him, one of them might be a title shot.
Yeah.
So like, surely that money you looked at before, it's like people just fucking going. They're not going to get boxers' money at the moment. It's just not going to happen. It's
not. The only thing is like, so I'd be very, very interested. And I guess once we work our way up the MMA world ladder, Pete, we might know these things. But, the contract, like, what is it? Because does it depend on pay-per-view buys? Does it depend on the gate? Does it depend on, are you paid a set salary per fight, whether you're the winner? Like, what, how can a contract, it must be a flexible, fluid contract, no?
Yeah, it must be. Probably a lot of it is to do with, we want you for 8 fights because we don't want you going to Bellator or somewhere like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so if you say you're going to fight for us for like 8 fights, but then there can't be a set, unless they get paid extra, unless that 8 fight contract is for $1 million or something like that. And then, but if you win your fight in a month's time, that payment for that fight is separate. So that's like, oh, you get 50 grand for that fight. If you win, you get 100 or something like that. I don't know. Surely you can't plan out what you're going to be paying that person because you don't know who they're going to be fighting.
Exactly.
Out of nowhere, you can just give this guy a title shot, and it's like, well, hang on a minute. Surely that's worth more than 40 grand.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
It must be strange, and I'm not going to pretend to even even for me, music contracts are even bad enough. So to get into fighter contracts, mate, it's just a whole different kettle of fish in it. But yeah, it's a strange one. But we'll see what happens. It's still it's interesting, man. I hope that Masvidal does want to stay, does want to fight, and it's just part of it. I do hope is a little bit of create some attention and create some heat towards me that I'm saying all this stuff, and then you're going to follow my Twitter, blah de blah de blah. Speaking of generating some heat, Peter, Conor McGregor has recently announced his retirement from MMA. Give me your thoughts on that.
No, it's all bullshit, mate.
Why do you think that? Why are you so confident?
Because of the way that he said it, the way that he's done it before when he's like, fuck this, I've had enough, when he's been angry and just, but this is, I think, literally just through boredom. He's just like, look, nothing's happening. I think he said, like, why are you making the Gaethje Khabib fight so far away? In the meantime, because I think he said he was ready to go in July, like the 1st of July or something like that, or I guess it's around Fight Island time. And he was like, why don't we just do me and Gaethje, and then when Khabib's ready, the winner fights like the winner of that fight. But it's just the way that he said it is just nothing's going on right now. So I don't. That's why I don't. He probably just said retirement, to just get a few people talking. Do you know what I mean? Where he could just sit there and be like, no, I ain't doing nothing, and then out of nowhere someone gets injured or something happens, and it's like something will present itself, and he'll be bored, and he'll just fucking. Sorry, fucking.
Old Mayweather was even piping up, wasn't he?
What was he saying?
Mayweather said, I heard you, he commented on the post and he was like, I heard you tell Mike Tyson that you said that if you could fight me again, you would win. And now you're retiring. He was like, anytime you're ready to come back, let me know and I'm happy to give you another punishing.
Fucking hell, we never know.
I know Mayweather's proper retired. McGregor's like quotations retired. Taking pops, mate. Comments generate money. That's all it is. Well,
even I'll tell you why this is talking shit as well. Fucking Cejudo done it in the ring the other night,
right?
And then I've literally just watched the first 10-15 minutes of he's on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah,
big up Joe Rogan. And
he needs the publicity, mate.
Yeah. Just if any of you never heard of him, and he's just literally said, "Yeah, Joe, I'm retired, unless." And then Joe Rogan's like, "Oh, I like that word, unless. What does that mean?" And he was just like, "Well, the only one person I would be interested in right now is Volkanovski for the featherweight title." And Joe Rogan looked at him. He was like, "Oh, so to become the freeweight world champion?" He was like, "Yeah, that's the only thing that really gets me going." So he was just like, "Do you know what I mean?" And that fight's just been announced as well, the rematch. So,
what, Holloway?
Yeah. So if they come out of that one. I don't know the date actually. It might be one of the Fight Island cards. But yeah, he just said that. So from going to, I'm so happy I'm retiring right now. But then he's just come out and said again, if the money's right and he's got a chance for the third belt to make history, he's like, why not? Like, I'm in the best condition of my career.
Yeah, I can see that. That'll be mad. I'm just going to Holloway's page. There's nothing on his page yet, but has it been officially announced by UFC, was it?
Yeah, where do I see it? I've definitely saw it today, I think. It might be on Instagram.
We can have
I'm sure it's breaking news.
This is the fight that obviously, it's set for UFC 251 in Abu Dhabi, it says. I'm just see if we can get a date on it. It's a done deal. It's at it's going to be on Fight Island. Just trying to get a date. It doesn't say a date at the moment though, but it's going to be one of the events, I'm guessing. But it's signed and it's a done deal. So I guess Cejudo is looking for the winner of that then.
Yeah. Well, I guess he thinks. Well, maybe he said this. He probably done. Yeah, he probably said this before that fight got officially announced. So, I guess if Volkanovski wins that and he's still interested, then, and I guess if Volkanovski if he has a shutout performance again, do you know what I mean? It's definitely. Especially someone like that, he's not old. You know what I mean? He's not old and past it, and just at the end of his career, he's like getting better and better with every fight.
Definitely one of the greatest, or the greatest combat sports athlete of all time, as he likes to say. Anything else from yourself, Pete? Any other wicked whispers?
No, nothing interesting. I just can't wait to see these cards they put together. Hopefully, they fucking Cowboys got to be on one of them. Surely. He's not going to miss that opportunity. Absolutely
not. This is going to be the new thing now. This is going to be like, Corona's happened and it's obviously been really, really shit in that. But it's just one of those things that's going to be like, it's going to be a time that we live through. I remember that time when UFC, there was fucking fights on that island.
And that's what I mean. And them fighters are going to want to be a part of that. It's going to be like, yeah, did you ever fight on Fight Island? No, I couldn't they didn't give me a fight. Fucking hell. But they're just going to want exciting fights as well. So it's fucking chuck them all on there.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Get them all in there. Royal Rumble.
John Jones and Garno, whack him on there.
Get them all on there. Let's hope that it is a nicer place to be than other famous islands like Jeffrey Epstein's, for example. If you haven't watched that documentary on Netflix,
I do want to watch it.
Fucking.
Well, I don't know. Do I want to watch it,
mate? Yeah, it's incredible to see that happens. The absolute fucking monstrosities and atrocities that man is responsible for is absolutely ridiculous, mate. Great episode, great card. I really enjoyed the last card. You know, it was one of those ones where it was like, you know, I feel like a lot of people at the moment are like, oh, these cards are rushed and where's the big names? But then you look at a card like that, the knockouts, the ex-champions that were on there, the current champions that were on there, just a really, really big card. And listen, this weekend, again, we quickly, you know, we didn't preview it. We quickly ran through it, but I guarantee you there's going to be some fucking epic fights on the weekend.
There's going to be some sick fights, yeah.
100%.
I can't remember the last time I saw a card and was like, why did I wait up for that? Or why did I bother watch? Like, it just doesn't happen anymore.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Even if it's a sort of cagey 3-rounder, you know, it doesn't matter. It's just to see two people, just to see live sport at a fucking minute anyway.
Yeah,
boom. All right, Pete, thanks for joining me again, mate. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, take care.
I'm going to go jump on NBA now, if you're about.
Oh, God, not after last night. Fuck me.
We are shit. All right, mate. I'll see you later.
See you later.